Yes, so we were discussing last time statically indeterminate problem. I think there where I stopped. So today's lecture is 9. So I will still simplify the same problem. So statically I hope everybody knows what is the meaning of statically indeterminate problem. Statically indeterminate and we are discussing only one dimensional problem. Why one dimension? Because all the displacements are functions of only one coordinate x. They are all actually loaded bars. So it is 1D. We call it in short form of one dimension is 1D. 1 and D capital 1D problem. I will just write here axially loaded. So I will just take a simple problem. A rod of cross section A and length L and then it is, let us say, 1 so this problem, if you say it is 1A, this end is A is fixed, then it is, I think it is stable problem, it is stable. I can apply a load here or load here, there is no, you can solve this problem and this will undergo some deformation delta, and delta can be found. So this is statically determinate, because the free body diagram of this one will be a load here, and then at this end there will be, I can still see that and here there will be a reaction R1. This is the free body diagram of this problem. P1 here, P2 here, and the reaction, because the support has been removed, so it is a free body diagram, reaction will be there, and you can find out the value of reaction by summing all the forces only in x direction. Only there is only one condition of equilibrium, that is sum of all forces in x direction. So you can find out the value of R1. So this is determinate. Straight away this is determinate. Now we make it indeterminate. The same problem I am making it indeterminate. So rod is same of length L. Yes, it is clamped here. Then I also clamp it here when there is no load applied to the bar. Not after the load is applied and it has deformed here by this much amount delta, and then you clamp it. You can say that I will clamp it later after application of load, and this has already elongated, and then you clamp it. Then what will happen? Will there be any reaction here in this additional reaction? No, it has already undergone elongation, so it will not further deform under the action of loads. So it will just be a support. It will just be a touching support without any reaction being felt on that support. So when the loads are not there, I am clamping. This is important. Clamping, etc., it is called fixing the boundary condition. Boundary conditions have to be prescribed to the body before application of the load, not afterwards. First two, so we have made it more constrained. This one was okay, only one support was more than enough to keep it in stable position, but now I was not happy. Okay, so put one more support, clamp it. Now I apply a load here. There is no point in applying a load at the support, because that will go directly to the support. It will not deform the rod. So this P2 that is applied here has no effect on the rod. Okay, so I am now applying only a load here, P. Afterwards, length is L. Okay, now you have to solve this problem. So before solving, you have to always draw the free body diagram. So free body diagram of this rod will be, there is a load at the center P. There has to be some reaction at A. This point is A, this end is B, so this is B, and where the load is applied is C. Just for convenience, so I will call it here, and I am drawing all the reactions positive in X direction, positive X direction. So this is my positive X direction, left to right. All reactions, because I don't know the direction, what will be the direction. So best thing is to show everything. Don't take it, don't visualize. Reaction will be like this. When you don't know, you please put the reactions always positive in the positive coordinate direction. So I will put a reaction here and also a reaction here, because that is also now constrained, so I have removed. So these are my, so I will call it here RA and RB. P is applied in the center. So this one in the center is, so this is L by 2, this is L by 2. Okay, now there are two reactions. So the equilibrium says of this rod here, equilibrium condition, that RA, now you see there is something, some disturbance is there. So this is my equilibrium. Now there are two unknown reactions and only one equation of equilibrium. So obviously this cannot be solved. I cannot get both reactions RA and RB by this equation. I get RA plus RB equal to minus P. That is all. There I was getting RA will be here what was there? R1 was P1, minus P1 plus P2. But here I cannot get, I have got two reactions and the applied load. So this is statically If you have any doubt, you please ask me right now. This is a statically indeterminate problem. Anyone who has a doubt in understanding, please get up and ask me. So what to do? So equilibrium alone is not enough to solve this problem. Equilibrium condition alone, so we will have to make use of the other condition, because we have got three conditions. Equilibrium is one. Then we must study deformation. We must study deformation, and then we also should consider the stress-strain relation or material constitutive law. Deformation, then we must relate stress to strain, because from the first one, equilibrium, you get the concept of at any cross section you know the force. So force divided by area of cross section is stress, and from study of deformation you know that the particles have moved from point P to point Q. So there is some displacement, there. So there you define strain. So these stress and strain also have to be related, and that is related through constitutive relation. Material, constitutive, or material, you have to know what is the material. If it is statically determinate, you don't have to worry about the material. It could be of any material, made of any material, you will be able to get the reaction. But if it is statically indeterminate, we must know what is the material of the body, because there is no other alternative. You will have to make use of all the three conditions. So three conditions means all the equilibrium, to deformation, third one, relation between stress and strain. Equilibrium, this will give you some idea about stress, this one will give you some idea about strain. They have to be related. So these are the three complete set of equations that describes the behavior of any elastic body, irrespective of whether the body is in statically determinate or indeterminate. So these two laws, these two conditions will have to be used. Of course, we have already applied boundary conditions. Support conditions are called boundary conditions. So now I will visualize this problem. See, I will draw this rod only as a line instead of drawing a cross section. So it is a line, axial rod of length L. This is the problem. It is subjected to, there is a load here P, and then so this problem I will visualize this. I think this is where I have already spent about 20 minutes explaining this. I will visualize this statically indeterminate problem as a statically determinate problem. I will make it determinate. Remove one report. Remove one support condition, support remove, and let P be acting, P. Under this will undergo, call this as delta naught. But then this is not the problem. Plus a problem with, because you have got rid of the reaction here. If you have made it free, means the reaction is not there. So you must put the reaction here. So this was your A, and this one was B. This is A, this is B. So I will put here plus and RB. So if I can superpose the two solutions, a solution of this and a solution for this. So now I have split this problem into two problems. One is statically determinate, another also is statically determinate with a reaction. But then how to make these two solutions equal to this, such that these two problems, yes, it is okay, RB, if RB, such that these two problems represent this. When will this represent this? When the displacement of point B will be set equal to 0. In such a way, I must get, because this will also, see, this will, under this load, applied load, this will undergo delta naught. Under this load, this will undergo also, this will also undergo, under RB, this also will undergo some delta. But then the real problem does not have any. So I will have to put a condition, and the condition is I must make this represent, these two solutions represent the original problem. So I will call it, I must satisfy what is called compatibility condition. Compatible. The deformation must be compatible. The two solutions must be such that I get zero displacement at B. So this is called compatibility. Compatible. Displacements must be compatible. So compatibility. So put the condition that, and what is that? Displacement at B should be equal to 0. And how will I get this? Yes, if I solve this, how much will be delta naught? Delta naught will be equal to P into L by 2, because from here to here will move as a rigid body. There is no force from C to B. C to B there is no force. If you take free body diagram, cut it anywhere, will there be any force? So there is no stress. Between BC there is no stress, there is no force. Is it okay? When I cut this here, I will get equal to P. P tension up to here. So from A to C, it is subjected to a constant load P. So this portion will undergo displacement, and from here to here will simply move as a rigid body along with it. So delta naught will be equal to PL by area of cross section into modulus of velocity of this. How much will be delta? RB is an unknown. I don't know RB. But then yes, this will undergo, there is no load here. See, in the second problem, load is not there. Load is there only in the first problem. So RB into L, compatibility condition says that delta naught plus delta is equal to 0. And therefore, you get AE plus RBL by AE equal to 0. See, everything is positive in the positive x direction. So I don't have to worry about equal to sign, this equal to that. I am writing everything positive in x direction. So the sum must be equal to 0. I am not saying this equal to that. That also can be given provided I had given a opposite reaction here. If I had shown an opposite reaction, but then why should I do this? Let it come from the calculation. Direction will automatically come. Correct direction will appear from the, so please take this. Always show the reactions in the positive direction. So this one will give you, so this will lead to L will go, A will cancel, then L will go. So how much you get? This will give you minus P by 2. Is it correct? Well, yes, this is what we are getting. So minus sign means whatever sign you have assumed, it is opposite of that. So actually it is this. So this is how statically indeterminate problems are solved. Okay, they are not difficult. You think now this superposition is possible only because the material is linear. See, Hooke's, this I have superposed. This is called law of superposition. I have superposed two solutions. So this will hold good provided your stress-strain relation is linear. If it is non-linear, you cannot add two quantities. Okay, stress-strain relation is linear, and that translates into that load deflection relation also will be linear. Not only stress-strain of material, but also P delta curve also will be linear. Okay, so this will hold good provided the condition of linearity only for linear material and P delta curve being linear. P delta means if you plot P against delta of any point, then that also will be, there are situations when they will become non-linear also after some time. You go on increasing load, you will find after some time it becomes this way or it goes up like this. So P delta can be both. Okay, so only in the, as long as P is less than that zone where it starts behaving non-linear. Okay. Now, when P delta curve becomes non-linear, we say that displacements are becoming large displacement. That is our understanding. It is not given in the book, but you understand this. When it goes into the non-linearity zone, P delta, this is slide. So I have, first of all, superposition will hold good provided you are within this. If it is steel, so your load, your stress in the body should never exceed yield point. This is your sigma y, yield. So you should always be in this zone, linear. This called is linear. Plasticity has not started, permanent deformation has not, because in this zone permanent deformation, material undergoes permanent. No, I don't want. See, if you unload here, it will follow the same path. If you unload, stresses will go on reducing and strain will become like this. If you are here, but if you are here, if you unload, it will become something like this. You will have so much of permanent displacement. I do not want that. I want only in this zone. Your stress should never exceed this. Then this superposition law. So law of superposition. Remember this. This is, you are going to use this throughout your life. Law of superposition. Holds good. If stress is proportional to linearly, that means stress is equal to, this is linear, not exceeding 1. 2, when I draw also, how do you get P delta curve, by the way? Supposing I am interested in this, and displacement of the body, displacement of any point, let us say the same loaded point. I want to plot loaded point, I call it, what should I call? U naught. U naught is displacement of loaded point. Where P is applied. So this also, initially when the loads are small, it will be a straight line, because this one is stress. Stress multiplied by area of cross section is what? Force. So you go on increasing load, at any point stress will be P divided by area of cross section. So load, this I am talking of this load which is applied, external load. But afterwards, either after certain load, so this is a linear zone. Afterwards, it will droop like this, or it will also go, it might go also like this. I do not know which path it will take. So either this or this. Now, will you call this linear? No. So this is a non-linear. So this is non-linear. Now this concept also is important for understanding any course that you will be studying from now on. So I am saying that 2 P delta curve, P versus U curve, P versus U curve is linear, then only holds good if 1 and 2 both, and 2 and 2. So material also has come, load also has come. Now what happens after P goes in the non-linear, then displacement is this much. Normally a fraction displacement we call a fraction of the dimension means cross-sectional dimension of the member. Displacement will be very small. This PL by AE will be a fraction of diameter or radius of the cross-section. Maybe 1/10, 1/100, 1/5, some fraction. But if it goes in the non-linear, it may become equal to the diameter or even more than that. So we call such displacement as large displacement. So we are dealing with small displacement. So third one, linearity holds, superposition holds good if displacements are small. Not large. So 1, 2, they are all consequence of each other, Displacements are small, not large. We are not considering large displacement. The moment you become large displacement means my P delta curve I have to consider non-linear, and then superposition will not hold good. Have you understood? So there is a range in which this can be applied. Okay, now then superposition. Now let us go to the next. Same rod of cross section A, length L. Simple problem again. Both ends are fixed, so it is constrained. I increase the temperature of this total rod, put it in a fire or a furnace. Fire means furnace. So temperature earlier was, let us say, T1 of all these particles. Entire rod was at T1. It was T1x. All the points had T1 temperature. All x. X means any point in this rod. Any general point has the same T1. Now it has gone to T2. All the points have undergone, and therefore delta T, there is a rise in temperature T2 minus T1. Now T2 minus T1 is not the difference in temperature from bottom to top or from left to right. No. Initially the whole rod was at temperature. This people at very senior level also make mistake. When we ask them, what is the temperature, what was the state, they will say, I think left end was at T1 and now it has become T2. So this is a difference between the temperature of the two ends. No, it is not that. It is originally all the points had the temperature of this rod T1. Now I have raised the entire rod, the temperature of the entire rod to T2. So every particle has undergone a change in temperature of delta T. Now what happens to the rod? No other force, no mechanical load, it is only temperature rise. Will you see anything to the rod? Is there anything physically you will see? The rod is the same length has not changed, but what will happen? It will be under stress. So rod will be under stress. Rod under stress. You have created stress, but no strain. There is no strain. This I think I have already spoken to you. There is no. So here your Hooke's law will not apply. Stress is not proportional to strain. E is not coming in the picture. I cannot relate the stress to strain. So when I draw the free body diagram of this rod, free body diagram, initially of course there was no support reaction. Initially when the rod was at temperature T1, there was no support reaction. It was just fit. Same size of the rod which has been just put it at temperature, room temperature T1. Now I have raised the temperature, so it is trying to expand, but it is not allowed to expand. So there will be some reaction. I don't know. Will the rod be under tension or compression? Rod will be under compression because it will try to expand, but it is not allowed to expand. It will be under compression. So, but I am not showing here a compressive force. I am just showing everything positive in the positive direction. So, now how to find out this compression or the stress produced because of change in temperature of the rod. So again, this is statically indeterminate. This problem is statically indeterminate. So this problem also is statically, there are two reactions, statically indeterminate. So what I will do, I will make it determinate first. So my original problem is like this. This is equivalent to a problem that is determinate. So determinate means like this. First problem is determinate. Remove one support. That is the simplest thing to do. Somebody will try to remove the left support, someone the right support. That is okay. I have no problem. You decide which one is simpler for you to visualize. But for me it is okay. Left, let it be. So this is, and now what is the load acting on this? Load is external change in temperature. So here this undergoes delta T. Delta T, so this will under delta T, this will undergo this. We call it delta naught. Same. That you can find out what is delta naught. Delta naught will be equal to alpha into delta T is the uniform strain. Is it okay or not? Into L. So delta naught will be this. How many of you have not understood this? That delta naught will be equal to L. If you make this support free, so this will undergo a displacement this much from here to here. Point A is here, point B will go to B dash. B will move to B dash. So BB dash is equal to this. Is it clear to everybody? Alright. Then plus, again you follow the same procedure. See, this solid mechanics, engineering mechanics, structural mechanics, theory of elasticity, etc., that the course that you will be doing, they are all very simple if you understand the concept. But if you try to mug formula, I will use this formula to find out this, then you will never understand and you will always make mistake. You always go from first principle, and it is very simple. If you have understood, then you cannot make mistake. So plus what? Plus this problem, my original problem, delta, original problem is that there is a plus here, temperature rise is there. So this is subjected to, this is the free body diagram. The top one showing is free body diagram of this problem. Free body diagram of this one, that yes, there will be support. So I will put it, okay, that means I will put here again RB. Let there be unknown reaction RB there. And I will solve this problem plus this problem in such a way that I will set the displacement at the other end, B end, to be 0. I will superpose solution 1 and solution 2. So here superposition will be giving what? First one, delta naught. Second one also undergoes, call it as, I think we have been using small delta. So again, so this condition is called what? Compatibility condition. That means displacement. Compatibility is always related to displacements. So here you get so delta, just to bring it here, delta naught plus delta. What is delta naught equal to? Delta naught is equal to L alpha into delta T. Okay? Delta naught is equal to L alpha into delta T. What is delta? RB L. It is a purely mechanical problem. There is no temperature here. There is a reaction at the end, free end, and total length is effective. So AE, this must be set equal to 0. Therefore, you get here RB will be equal to then RB will be equal to minus you got a, so see, you should also see the dimension, check the dimension. What is the dimension of this? No dimension. Alpha is always per unit temperature, per unit centigrade or per unit Fahrenheit, it will be given value of alpha, coefficient of thermal expansion into delta T becomes unitless. Multiplied, so this is strain. Strain is always unitless. So this is strain multiplied by E, stress multiplied by A, force. Stress multiplied by A is force, so this is force. So please check, don't write anything and then say, no sir, I have made a mistake, sir. I just forgot to write here something. I just forgot to write alpha or E. This is how you come and explain. No, it is your job to check the dimensions. So RB is so many Newton, so many kilonewton, or so many Pascal. So this one RB you have got. Once you have got RB, so then the problem is solved. So this is your rod. Now it is of the same length, no change. This is A. So this is RA. And this is RB. With a minus sign, now minus is come, but let it be RB. Go to minus AE, next person Next class teacher has come. There is no class for you. Okay. So this is RB, and therefore, can you get RA also? Of course, they have to be, because there are only two forces. So RA plus RB equal to 0. So this gives me RA equal to minus RB. So RA will be equal to minus RB minus this is, so minus minus plus AE alpha into delta T. What about the signs, please? You should also show finally, when you show the answer, final answer, a rod with, please show this. Like this. And what is RA? RA, see, RA is already positive. RA, the sign, I have taken RA like this, and this has come also positive. So no change in sign. So this will be also. So this rod under a temperature rise of delta T is under compression, and the compressive force is AE alpha into delta T. So this is compressive force. What is stress? Compressive stress. What is compressive stress? This divided by A. Force divided by area of cross section. So it is E alpha into delta T. Okay, thank you.